Of dollars were printed and you got crumbs. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. In today's video, we are going to talk about the haves and the have-nots. I just learned that this is actually a TV show. We're not going to talk about those haves and have-nots. We're going to talk about the rich and everyone else. We're going to look at what has happened over the last little while that have made it far beyond anything we've seen in the past. This is actually a bigger differential, a bigger wealth gap than the roaring 20s and what led into, of course, the Great Depression after that point. Now, here you can see dollar stores have forgotten who had made them rich. Gambling on patrons with plumber paychecks may increase sales for a while, but it's risky long term, and essentially saying, look, they're increasing their prices and so on. Just in general, what's happened with the dollar stores is they have expanded their product line considerably, and the prices have gone up as well. You can look at a lot of these dollar stores. I know that one that I go to has at least five. I mean, I've never really looked, but there's items there for $5. Okay, and they used to be $1. So although we are getting more variety, there's food there now like there never was before. Now we are seeing prices increasing. There's no question about it. And so they're saying, hey, they're gambling. The dollars are supposed to be all that cheap $1 stuff. And now they are kind of playing around with that. I think it's not necessarily a bad idea for the stores to provide more products. But if you kind of increase those prices, look, if it went from $1 to $1.50, that's percentage-wise, that's a 50% increase. And a lot of people, they just can't deal with that. Yes, it's only a small amount when you look at it in dollar value, but that adds up over time. And that's the concern that a lot of people have. Okay. It's just basically talking about the dollar stores and how they have been impacted, the things that they have been doing. They've been opening a lot of stores, except now they're starting to close a few. And this has been a huge change because they haven't done it in a long time. This could be simply non-performers, the areas that are just not doing well. So we'll see if that trend continues. But overwhelmingly, the dollar stores have been the ones to open up those stores. What about this? Monthly Swiss watch exports. February exports suffer the first significant drop since 2021. All right. And what's happening here is that you've got people, clearly they're saying, well, okay, let's not purchase this. If they're in China, it could be in Europe, it could be anywhere really. But the exports, the data doesn't lie. And there's a massive secondary market. The secondary market is too expensive, way too expensive. But even when you look out at whatever retailer is available, they have actual inventory, because that's another problem with these high-end watches. People are putting their money elsewhere, it seems. Okay, they're not purchasing what they did. The whole, Iman Gadzhi, my $3 million watch portfolio. I don't think that's really flying right now. We'll see what happens though. But yeah, anyway, here we go. Looking at this, Bentley CEO says the sales are down because the rich are experiencing emotional sensitivity due to the cost of living and don't want to flaunt their wealth with a new luxury car. That's the excuse that they're using. Okay, so this connects. I try to make all of these things connect and make sense. Is that really the case? I'm interested to know your thoughts on this. Are people saying, I don't want to flaunt my wealth? I'm not so sure about that. In fact, I think people love to flaunt their wealth in the most cases. Depends on where they live, depends on, where they're growing up, but I see it all the time. We saw that all over YouTube. I'm sure it's still going on all on social media. Somebody gets anything and they love to show that off. The data, though, doesn't lie. Look, if your sales are down, that's going to hurt that company, certainly, the investors in that company, the shareholders of that company. But what's going on at a deeper level, right? We start to see things like this. Olive Garden owner Darden sees lower income diners spending less. So some people clearly don't have the capital, don't have the disposable income. Where is the money going right now? I think maybe instead of buying a Rolex watch, people with money are saying, okay, I'd rather invest in Nvidia stock because what I'm chasing now, or I'm investing in Bitcoin. Okay, we'll see if that trend like changes. Like if suddenly Bitcoin price starts to come down and maybe people sold, they made some money, maybe then they'll go and put that in a Rolex watch. I'm going to follow that data. If you hit thumbs up, you're going to then see these videos more likely in your feed and you'll be able to track that. That's what I do here at this channel. I track all the data each and every single day, far beyond any out there. And by the way, I've been the most accurate analyst on YouTube since 2020, and that is frightening to me. It's not a pat on the back. It is actually nothing but fear. Clay Barron has everything in his pawn shop, from gold rings, pearl necklaces to vintage cowboy boots, silver belt buckles, stereos, and ticking clocks. The only thing he's short on is space. Right now we have a glut of inventory, which tells me that our clientele doesn't necessarily have money. Interesting. The accumulation of inventory, and he's saying we don't have enough sales. So we could look at this in different ways, of course. Is it that we have a lot of people selling off their stuff and there's not enough buyers? Or is it both? People are selling off their stuff, they're trying to basically make some money, but other people are just saying, I don't want that stuff, so I'm not going to go to the pawn shop and get anything. Okay, you can look at that in different ways, but it's just showing you the haves and the have-nots, where the money is, where it's not. It's definitely going into places like Nvidia and Bitcoin. There's no question about that. Retailers turn to extreme bargains to lure shoppers as consumer spending underwhelms. This could absolutely be the case in different areas. There's different ways to do this. I'll talk about that in a second. You can actually track this yourself. It's just talking about the significant bargains, the different places that they're doing this or whatever. It's all dependent, and I really think that it is localized as well. Some of these places are doing totally fine. Other places are really struggling, like local economies. So I think it's not just a blanket kind of thing. If you want, what I do on my Sunday business live sessions is I actually show the data itself as it relates to Amazon specifically. I also show Google and Walmart data, and what I can see is the total search volume. So for instance, if you were to search, my Sunday class is going to love this, the turtle pillows. Okay, that's an inside joke. Turtle pillows or burrito blankets, you can actually see people's interest in that over time, and you get in total number of searches per month. And that is one way that you can accurately track the demand of certain things. Now, you can get it broadly by looking at the market analysis if you have a trademark. So I'm able to do that, and I could actually see, going through, looking at what people are searching broadly through Amazon, and you see what becomes a hot trend. Like as soon as you move into the winter time, you get, women's sweaters, for instance. But you also see things that people are trying to save money on. They're looking for clearance. They're looking for sale. They're looking for things that they necessarily weren't before. Those things are starting to trend much, much higher now. So I'm giving you this data from literally both sides. You don't find this. YouTubers don't do that stuff, okay? They don't have other businesses. Their business is YouTube, not mine, okay? Big grocery stores profited from 2020 more than their smaller rivals. Not a surprise at all. FTC report on grocery supply chains highlights Walmart and Amazon. Agency says rising profits warrant further inquiry. They're not going to be able to do anything. Of course, this is all just a show, but it shouldn't surprise anybody that they're making a lot of money. They can do whatever they want. They do whatever they want, okay? These big stores, if it's Amazon, what do? They can squash you. Absolutely. They can use their muscle to squash you. Or better yet, what about if they just do the frog in boiling water, where they increase the fees on you so that over time you have to pay higher and higher fees? What happens? What do? We increase the price. You increase the price, the customer has to pay more. That's the inflation. Who can afford that though? That's what's happening here. The businesses, like the small business owners, their profits get squeezed, Amazon's profits don't get squeezed, but the profit margins get squeezed, or prices can increase, even if it's just to make that same margin, and the consumer has to pay more. Okay, so if you're a seller, if you're a business owner, my whole theme around how I do that sort of business is to price in a higher category, to be in something that people need rather than want. So if they want, hoodies for their cat, that might not be a need. Although, the whole pet niche did very well during the financial crisis. The point is, wants and needs, if you can kind of separate those two and you look for things that people buy once, they use for many, many years, that's more likely to get a purchase. So we're seeing things that are really changing now with the haves and the have-nots. You could see where the money is and where it's not. Look and understand the localized behavior of the consumer, and you'll be able to dial this in for yourself. Watch out where you live. This is a very big factor in the amount of money that you make as well as you keep. I hope you appreciate this information. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. If you are interested, can we get the fireworks happen? If you are interested in the Sunday Business Live, Amazon, Walmart, all of the offline like retails, I get into all that. If you're interested, link in the description below. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.